Oh, right. Microphone. Important. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the live stream. Today it is 8/17. Wow. Okay. So August 17th. And we are pretty close to the weekend. Baba is here. Lene is here. Red is here. And you got here on time for once. Well, there you go. The beginning part is never exciting. You don't need to get here on time. There's really no point if we're being honest with ourselves. Okay, today we're talking franchises, media franchises, not other franchises. The 15, I think there are 15. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 media franchises. Okay, let's get this. That's okay. So now if I put myself over here, yeah, you guys can see that. So this is not in order yet, although, oh, there we go. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to place these in order of the from smallest to largest. So let's see. Dungeon Fighter Online, then Cars, then Transformers. I know Pokemon is all the way up at the top. Spider-Man. Fun fact, in French, he's called Spider-Man. Oh, is he not there? There's no Spider-Man. There's no Spider-Man? Why is there no Spider-Man? Okay, you guys, I gotta fix this. That's dumb. There has to be a Spider-Man. Okay, so let me quickly normal view, edit. We want to upload. Yeah, I got. Where's Spider-Man? Spider-Man. Oh. Well, just you, Spider-Man. Okay. Submit. Is it working? Okay, good. Okay, now we can go back. Presentation mode. Do this. And then we do that. Okay, now we can go. All right, what did I say? Dungeon Fighter Online, Cars, Transformers, and then Spider-Man, and then Batman, and then Call of Duty, MCU, and then Barbie. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Oh, come on. There we go. MCU, Barbie, Harry Potter, Anpanman? Anpanman? It's Japanese. I don't know what that is. Disney princesses, Star Wars, Winnie the Pooh, believe it or not. And then Mickey Mouse and Pokemon. Wait, where did Call of Duty go? Call of Duty goes right before the MCU. Between Batman and the MCU. Oh, I got Call of Duty in there twice. Okay, so we can get rid of that one. There we go. The 15 largest. Can I delete that one? No? Okay, that's fine. We'll just do those 15 largest. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so we've got some franchises. Now, what constitutes a franchise? Franchise, let's see. In fact, I was just talking with Sarah about this. She was trying to guess what a few of them would be, and she said Marvel, and I said, well, the MCU, and she goes, okay, so, and I said Batman as well, and she goes, well, so DC, and I said, first of all, impressive that you knew that Batman was DC. For Sarah, that's very impressive, but also a franchise that that's too big an umbrella, right? So if we look at the list as currently constituted, we've got Disney princesses and Mickey Mouse. Those are both Disney properties, but they're not But like Disney is too large an umbrella. Disney is not a franchise. Disney is a brand, it's a corporation, whatever, but it's not a franchise. But within that, you have different tranches of content, right? So we've got our 15 candidates here. Now, I've got the standard SABCD tiers, and then an NA in case I don't know what it is. For example, Dungeon Fighter Online. I'd never even heard of that, but I looked up the list of the highest grossing media franchises. And this one kind of came in just under the threshold or above the threshold for the top 15. And it looks like this is a Chinese computer game franchise, whatever. So Dungeon Fighter Online. And first of all, I'm impressed with anything, any brand, any franchise that makes this list, because this is at least $20 billion in sales. And we can talk about what type of sales, but this Dungeon Fighter Online is just it's only video games, right? So there's no, at least on Wikipedia, it doesn't list any offshoots. There's no movie franchises, nothing like that. It's just $20 billion computer game, which is super impressive. I think Call of Duty is the only other one that gets higher than that. So I'd never heard of it, but hey, you know, what is it? 1.3 billion Chinese people, and in China, I should say, residents of China. So yeah, huge market. All right. So what's next? No, Cartoon Network. Yeah, so Cartoon Network would be similar to what I was saying before. Cartoon Network isn't a franchise. Cartoon Network is a brand, it's a delivery system, it's what have you, but there's no Cartoon Network franchise branded as such and marketed as such. So, oh, by the way, what's up, Todd? Hey, Jingles. Alex, hello. So yeah, Cartoon Network, there are things within Cartoon Network, like if, you know, the Powerpuff Girls were on the list, like that would be a franchise. And Cartoon Network would be the delivery system for that franchise, right? Okay, so Dungeon Fighter Online, and I know it's so small. Can I reasonably make it bigger? Not tons. What if can I put, yeah, there, I'll put myself over here because I don't think we're going to use that right side as much. Okay, Cars. Believe it or not, are you freaking kidding me? Cars, the 2006 Pixar movie. Since 2006, they've had several movies. Get this. The Cars, I believe it's a trilogy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a trilogy. The box office for the trilogy, $1.8 billion. Technically 1.799, but let's round up, we'll call it $1.8 billion for Cars, which already is like, oh my gosh, for 3 movies, like that is quite the success rate. Ka-chow, as you might say. DVD and Blu-ray sales, $634 million. That is massive for DVD and Blu-ray sales on 3 movies, right? And I don't know, maybe DVD and Blu-ray sales would include some offshoots. Maybe they made some like Cars, the Adventures of Ka-chow guy. I can't remember the names of all the things. I've never actually seen them. But I know what their reputation is, and I know they're amazing for kids. There's a reason it grossed this much, but I'm not sure that I'm comfortable ranking something that I haven't seen. I've ridden the ride at Disneyland. You know, I've been through Cars Land at Disneyland. But you guys let me know. Should I rank something based on simply on its reputation? So like Dungeon Fighter Online, I don't even know what the reputation of that would be. I know nothing about it. I first heard about it today. But Cars, I have at least some context for. So should I try to rank it, or should I just put it in NA? Um, oh, Lightning McQueen. Right. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that. Yeah, I'm very hip, very with it. I am down with the kids. Um, yeah, I don't know. For now, I'm going to go ahead and put it in NA because I haven't seen it. All right. Next up, Transformers. Transformers. Okay. Um, Transformers comes in number 13 with 25 billion dollars. Oh no, I didn't even mention, you guys, on Cars, 1.8 billion at the box office, 634 million in DVD sales, and then merchandise sales, 19 billion dollars. Toys, baby, toys. So that's Cars. Transformers, interestingly, merchandise sales is 4 billion. So about a fifth of what Cars has made. And Transformers has been around since 1984. So 24 years of runway, and Cars already has sold 5 times as much merchandise as Transformers, one of the most legendary toy franchises of all time. But what puts this one over the edge, box office of 5.2 billion, 5.3 if we round up, and $906 million in DVD sales. Of course, that's over a few more movies, right? There are 3 Cars movies, and then the Transformers movies have what, like, I don't even know. What are we up to? 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that? Whatever it is, they seem to do very well. Okay, so where would I put Transformers? The problem is I have to rate this as a franchise. I can't rate the individual films. Let's call them movies. They're not films. Okay, let's call them movies. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a B. They're not great. They're actually not awful. If you watch them, they're big and loud and dumb, and this is not high art, but they have done some amazing CG work. They are consistently entertaining, as evidenced by the fact that people keep going to see them. I mean, the first one was good enough to get me to go see, I think, like 3 more after that. So I saw Bumblebee, and I saw like I saw 1 or 2 of the sequels, the direct sequels. Anyway, so are they high art? No. But even just based on that first movie, it's like, look, this isn't the worst thing in the world. Some of them might be, but I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with a B on that one. Don't rank unless you've seen at least 1 complete work. I think that's fair. So, let's see. I wonder what Transformers merch numbers would look like if inflation adjusted. This is inflation adjusted to the best of my knowledge. Let me double check. This is, yeah, I think all the numbers are inflation adjusted. Yeah. Excuse me. It's a dynamic list, as far as I can tell. Yeah. But if I spot something in this article that I'm working off of that suggests otherwise, I'll let you know. But for now, yeah, I assume that they are inflation adjusted. Okay. So that's it. Yeah, I'll put Transformers there as a B. All right, Spider-Man. Spider-Man, freaking dope. I love Spider-Man, just as a concept and mostly in the execution as well. I'm trying to think of, like, let's stick with movies for now. I'm trying to think of a bad Spider-Man movie. Even the what was it? Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3. A lot of people laugh at that one, and it's not as good as the others. That's totally fair. But is it a bad movie? I don't think I'd say it's a bad movie well, no, it's if there's a line and there's good on that side, it's probably maybe just pushing onto that side of bad. But it's not like awful, rank horrible stuff. There are some interesting things in Spider-Man 3. I recently watched that one with my kids. Um, and there are redeeming factors. Then you move on to the Andrew Garfield ones, and those both of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies are solid. In fact, I think the first one is really quite good. Um, and also points for having Emma Stone in anything. I swear I've never been more in love with a celebrity woman than Emma Stone, with the possible exception of Kristen Bell. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, freaking love Emma Stone. So if you put Emma Stone in it, I'm gonna love it. Anyway, but then it's not just the movies. Of course, there's the TV show, obviously the toys and all that stuff. So Spider-Man comes in $25.4 billion. Okay, so let's see, box office 9.8 billion, merchandise 14.5 billion, home video 787 million, video games 110 million. That's huge. And then check this out, the Broadway musical, $212 million for Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, which I've heard is awful. But Broadway musicals, they do tend to do numbers. Like once something gets real cultural momentum, then Broadway is going to do some serious numbers. But I don't know. I've heard it's awful, but apparently that wasn't the case for everybody. So yeah, there's a musical. I remember back when it came out. It would come out in like 2008 or 9, something like that. And I remember this was like one of those proto flashpoints in the culture war. And I don't want to wade too much into this stuff. You guys, you know how I am. I don't like dragging that stuff into Legendarium content, but just as a matter of historical record, I remember the culture war around Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, because I believe it was Glenn Beck like got to do a sneak preview of the show, and he was like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, like as a musical, whatever, but also like look at the conservative values that it preaches, and list those off. And then the left goes absolutely ape shit. How dare you how dare you produce a product that's gonna have conservatives clapping, and so and then the bickering started. And so I could see, I did not keep track of it after that, but I do remember people bickering, what would that have been, 15 years ago, about Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. And I could see how even just that incredible controversy could drive numbers up on Broadway. So yeah, there you go. If you guys remember anything about it, sound off, let me know. But that's my recollection of what went on, was just this like flame war. Like I said, it was kind of a prototypical flame war. things have gotten so much worse now, but that was the first one that I remember. I shouldn't say it's the first one, but it's among the first that I can remember really, really clearly online, like with culture war stuff, where you grab a franchise or a logo or a character, and turn them into a totem in the culture war. And it was just, I don't care for that. See, that musical hurt so many actors. Now, do you mean literally physically hurt because of the like aerial stunts, or they couldn't get work after that because they were in Spider-Man, something like that? It was famously plagued by technical difficulties with the wire axe. Oh, which hospitalized quite a few actors. So literally hurt. Oh man, jeez. Yeah, that's one. So one of those days when you're glad you're unionized, I suppose, if you're a Broadway actor. Okay, well, there you go. All right, moving on. Oh no, I got to rank this. Spider-Man. Is Spider-Man S tier? It might be, honestly. Oh, Spider-Man, is it S tier, A tier? We're gonna put it high A tier for now. I freaking love Spider-Man. it's just such a versatile character and a versatile concept. It, you know, we can make fun of how many times they've redone the Spider-Man origin story and all that. That's fine. It's totally make fun ofable. And we're about to do Batman as well. But because of that origin story and the whole Aunt May and Uncle Ben dynamic, and the young kid, he's a young person with incredible powers. It's a bit like Redwall, that we just did our episode on, where you have a character who is who vacillates between being bumbling and awkward and being supremely powerful and together and adult. Spider-Man is very much that way. What amazing wish fulfillment for kids alongside all the other things that it does. So DFO is kind of fun. I had a friend who got into it. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'd never even heard of it. That's why I put it in that NA tier, because I have no idea what it is. I'd never heard of it until today. Okay. Batman. Batman, hang on. We'll talk a little bit of Batman first. Okay. So Spider-Man was at $25.4 billion. Batman is at $29.6 billion since 1939. It's been around a while. And of course, has had a lot of iterations since 1939. Batman does not look the same now as he did before. As you only have to go back to the 60s for the Adam West version. Batman was a very different concept. So let's see. Batman retail sales. As of 2012, 16 billion. And then merchandise sales, 5 billion. So what retail sales, 16 billion, that's for the comics. I think that's for the comics. My gosh. Are you freaking kidding me? Box office, $6.8 billion. $6.8 billion. I didn't even talk about Spider-Man's box office. That was at $9.8 billion. That's incredible. So I'm not the only one who, obviously, we all know that Spider-Man does numbers at the box office, but 9.8 billion. Holy smokes. I'd be curious to kind of break that down and see how many. Oh, here we go. Spider-Man films. I can break that down. So we had, oh, wow, there were 3, 1977, 78, and 81. Okay, so there's 3. There was a Japanese film in 78. Sam Raimi's trilogy, 5, 6, 7. And then the Mark Webb films, those are the ones with Andrew Garfield. So what are we at? 8, 9 films. And then under the licensing agreement with Marvel Studios, we have the other ones. So Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. I'd be interested to know if they're counting that, though, because that's under a licensing agreement with Marvel. And we know that we're going to get to Marvel stuff in a bit. So what did I say? Was that 10, 11? Was that 11? Anyway, so we might pull those 3 away, but then we can throw Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse into the mix as well. And there's going to be a Beyond the Spider-Verse. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, holy cow. I had no idea Spider-Man had made so much money. Batman, similarly, Batman has made $6.8 billion, 340 million in TV revenue, and 21 billion in retail sales. Wow. So Batman is popular, but as popular as Batman is on screen, it looks like he's more popular as a comic, maybe as a video game, I would assume. Let's see, home video, $1.2 billion. Sheesh. Yeah, that's a lot. Now, where do I put Batman? I put Batman solidly in the S tier. Favorite superhero. It's Batman followed by Spider-Man. So yeah. Okay. 15 biggest franchises, but I don't see the multi-team fantasy podcast, The Legendarium, here. That's true. We don't report our numbers publicly. We don't want to step on toes. We don't want to overshadow. You know how it is. We try to play nice within our space and not make those around us feel awful for not being as awesome. Whatever. It is what it is. Let's see. The Spider-Man musical was the most expensive ever, and the initial run only lasted 3 years. $75 million spent. That's a lot of money. But when you're making 200 million? 212 million. Yeah, they got their money back, didn't they? Batman has the best villains, but he's less interesting to me. See, I get that, and I think that's a totally valid opinion, totally fine. But I do disagree. I think Batman is a fascinating character all by himself. And yes, the villains are amazing. I love the villains in Batman. But I love Nolan's Batman trilogy in part because, yes, the villains are amazing. And I think Batman is plenty interesting as well. But it's like the city of Gotham as a character being affected by the presence of Batman is as interesting as anything else in any comic book, as far as I know. So, still not a huge ratio in terms of Broadway. Yeah. Okay. So 75 million spent on Spider-Man, 212 billion, 75 million spent, 212 made. Yeah, Hamilton, I'm sure that's got to be like one of, if not the biggest ratios of all time, right? So, let's see. Not gonna lie, I love Adam West Batman. Me too. This is, kind of like Spider-Man. It's a very versatile character. You can goof him up, or you can Dark Knight him up. You can do all sorts of things with it. When it comes to Batman, I love the Adam West ones. If you're in the mood for something just kind of fun and silly, and you don't expect your TV to be taken too seriously, then it's really fun. It's like watching old reruns of Gilligan's Island or something, where you're just there to laugh and have a good time. Interesting. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I missed this one. Spider-Verse. Okay. Probably. Oh, sorry. This was. I love the Adam West Batman. Probably due to the age I was introduced to it. Yeah, I watched Batman reruns when I was a kid. 6, 7, 8 years old. I used to love watching those on TV. I don't know what A-ham is. Huh. Okay. You can even Barbify him all pink. I don't know. Was Batman in the Barbie movie? I didn't see Barbie, so we'll get to Barbie in a minute, I guess. Hamilton in New York City alone has made $675. Wow. So it's probably made twice that touring, right? Maybe not twice that, but half again at least. Right. Oh, Alexander A-ham. Alexander Hamilton. So I've also, just a quick break before we go back to the list here. I haven't seen Hamilton. I haven't even listened to the soundtrack. It's not. There are those things where you're like, oh, everybody likes this, and so I won't. That's not what this is. I'm sure it's amazing. I just, I was never that interested. I love American history and the whole founding era. Like, that stuff is fascinating to me. But for some reason, that venue, that delivery system, never quite got my attention. I have heard the overture, that initial song that comes on where, what's my name? It's Alexander Hamilton. And that's really good. I quite enjoy hearing that when that comes on. But that's, again, not a pride thing or whatever. It's just, never sat down and bothered to watch it. So I'm sure it's great. The theater kid in me has died. I yeah, it's we all have certain types of media that call out to us. Uh and the stage has never been my preferred medium. That's not to say that there's no value in it or anything like that. I'm not trying to cast aspersions. I'm just talking about, we all have our own tastes, and the stage was never quite my thing. um yeah, yeah, musicals, plays, just it all kind of has escaped me. So a bit like how I talk about, excuse me, I talk about anime. I respect the heck out of anime. Glad it exists. Glad that people have a good time with it. That's all great. I just, maybe it's because I didn't grow up with it. Maybe, well, and in anime's case, it's just too damn loud. It both like orally and visually, it's just too loud for me. So, so there's that. But maybe that's because I didn't grow up with it. Anyway, so yeah, sorry guys, the stage is the same way for me. Okay. Love the word post haste. Need to correct this post haste so that, yeah, okay, all right, let's move on. Call of Duty. Let's go ahead and I played the first Call of Duty game. So going by let's see, where was it? Don't rank unless you've seen at least one complete work, or in this case, I'm going to say played at least one complete work. I do remember playing one Call of Duty game. It was fine. It was fine. And I'm glad people have so much fun with it, but it was just fine. I don't know. There are video games out there that I can really respect from a storytelling perspective or a gameplay perspective, or physics perspective. Solar Jetman being one of my favorite games as a kid. So it's not because it's a video game. I think it's as popular as it is because you can play with your friends and it's huge in esports. So, but that doesn't mean that I think it's A or S tier. But it's good. Just out of interest, $31 billion in video game sales. 31 billion up until 2022. Oh my gosh. Modern Warfare 2 alone made $1 billion. I wonder if they're putting esports revenue in there. They must be. They must be putting esports revenue in Call of Duty, because there would be a lot of that, right? People not playing in tournaments, but people watching tournaments, the ad revenue from tournaments, ticket sales, whatever. That's got to be huge, right? Okay, so yeah, that's Call of Duty. It's fine. Now we get to the MCU. Oh boy, the MCU. Oh, whew. We're going to run into a similar problem when it comes to Star Wars, aren't we? And I'm going to have to hurry up if I want to be done in an hour. We'll see. But it's when you say the MCU, do you mean the MCU from 2008 to 2020, or was it 2019? It would have been 2019. When did Avengers Endgame come out? That was 2019. Yeah. Ooh, I'm good. All right. So those 11 years, is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about it as a whole? Because the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if we're talking pre-Endgame or Endgame and before, then it's at least a high A tier. But if we include everything that's come after that, then it's probably more like a high B tier. Is that fair? Is that crazy? I think I don't know. I'm trying to look and see what you guys have said about it. I think you're still on Call of Duty right now. Um, yeah, I think I have to take it as a whole, and so I'm gonna put it in the high B tier. But let me make myself clear. I'm gonna do my best Obama impressions. Let me be clear. If we were talking about up to Endgame, just those movies, the kind of Avengers cycle, whatever, up to Endgame, maybe S tier, at least high A tier. But because it Hype House says, I don't think that's fair. I think we should judge by its peak. Well, if you judge everything by its best, then everything is going to be amazing. Well, okay, maybe not everything, but like everything's going to be S tier. I don't think we can judge it just by its peaks. Like if if I jokes aside about us being the biggest franchise in the world, but if you were to judge the Legendarium based on our best episodes, like take our 10 best episodes, then we're an amazing podcast. Oh my gosh, these are some of the best panel discussions out there. Far be it from me to be humble. We've had some amazing panel discussions. But if you look at 430 some odd episodes that we've done over the last 9 years, then suddenly it gets a lot murkier. We've had some dud episodes. We've had some, maybe boring episodes that didn't quite fit, things that didn't go as well. And those are part of the Legendarium too. And so I think you have to take a franchise as a whole and not just based on its best. If it were like, because let's take Transformers for instance. If I were to take Transformers and just judge it by its peak, then that would be the very first movie. It was Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. And that was a pretty good movie. It's actually really entertaining. And maybe that would be a low A tier or something like that. Like, yeah, but it's not. So we have to take the whole thing. Still S tier. So Game of Thrones the same way. S tier show even with seasons 5 through 8. Yeah, see, I can't do that. Because seasons 5 through 8 are part of the show, and I would say 7 and 8. 6 may not have been the best, but it was 7 and 8 that really, shat the bed. But they are part of the show, and there's a reason why nobody really talks about Game of Thrones anymore, and the reason is seasons 7 and 8. It tanked. It brought the entire average for that show way down. Yeah. Okay. All right. Barbie. I haven't seen the Barbie movie. I've never played with the toys. I mean, forgive me. I think we had one around, like my little sister had one around or something, but we were never a Barbie family. She had 3 older brothers, and so she got a lot of hand-me-down trucks and Nintendos and Legos and all that. So, yeah. Barbie, I think judging by the rule of, you have to be at least minimally involved. I'm not even minimally involved. The Barbie thing, I will say, I was trying to mention, what was it? Was it, which franchise was it? Or, it's, no, it was Hamilton. We were talking about Hamilton, and in that case, it's not like a pride thing. I just, it never really reached out and grabbed me. Barbie is not that way. Barbie is one of those things where, with the movie specifically, I'm not talking about the toys or the franchise as a whole, but this summer's massive blockbuster movie. I kind of resent that is a cultural phenomenon. and here's why. Not because of the movie itself. I like the people in it. Greta Gerwig has done some great movies. It's, I'm not even worried about the content of the movie. Nothing like that. Simply because when it first came out, the trailer, when the trailer first came out, like last year, way, a year plus ago, and we started getting these teasers for Barbie, the entire world went, eh, eh. But then Mattel and whoever their marketing arm was, they went on a marketing spree, the likes of which we have seldom seen ever, as far as not just the reach of the trailers, but also the efforts at making it relevant through social media influencers and whatnot. And um, the it was smart marketing. They did it very, very well, but it was like carpet bombing the entire world with Barbie marketing. Some of it was upfront marketing, but a lot of it was really sly, under the table marketing, shadow marketing, with influencers and whatnot and celebrities. And they made fetch happen, and I resent that. So that it's not a judgment on the quality of the movie or anything like that, but it was like the entire world didn't care until some people at a marketing firm told the entire world, you will care. And everybody went, okay. And I refused to get sucked into that. And I still do. I might see it one day, but maybe when it doesn't matter. So, uh, let's see. Got to go with the totality. Doesn't matter how good Winter's Heart is. It's still next to Crossroads of Twilight. There you go. I hope you guys, by the way, for those who didn't know, on Patreon, we are doing another Wheel of Time series, me and Todd. It's a shorter one. We'll do, I don't know, 7, 8 episodes instead of 30. But we are doing that as a Patreon exclusive. So if you haven't seen that yet, you should check it out. And I am maybe like a quarter of the way through. I'm in Baerlon right now. For those who have read the first book, I'm in Baerlon, and I'm taking it real slow, and I'm just enjoying it. I'm savoring the journey, and it is so fun. And I love reading for fun. I mean, I do read for fun for the Legendarium, but you know what I mean. It's a little different that way. Okay. Oh, that's true. There are other Barbie movies. Like there's the Barbie cartoons and whatnot. So yeah, but still haven't seen any of those either. Okay. Where are we at? Harry Potter. Harry Potter. This is another tricky one because we have to play the averages game. Harry Potter is, I think it's 6 books of genius, or mostly 6 books of genius, followed by a 7th book that's largely summed up by this facial expression. For me, it had some great moments. There are things about the 7th book that I really like. I think it was not. It wasn't the best, but that being said, it wasn't as good as the others. But compared to the rest of the genre, it's a bit like the way I talk about Elantris. It may not be Brandon's best book, but compared to most of the other stuff out there, Elantris is amazing. And I think Harry Potter 7 might be in a similar category. With that in mind, it may not be Batman for me, but I love Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter is fabulous. Harry Plorper, Harry Potter's fine. Oh, that's so generous of you. So generous. Yeah, Harry Potter's fine. I think it's amazing. Like if you could get, if you give a kid Harry Potter at the right age and they get obsessed with it, the lessons learned from Harry Potter, I think, are among the best you can get from something that's that accessible to an 11, 12, 13-year-old. It's a bit like when we did the Prydain Chronicles. My favorite book in that 5-book series is Terran Wanderer, the 4th book, because the entire book, it gets rid of all the side characters. It gets rid of the Dark Lord. It gets rid of most of that stuff. It focuses the story down on your protagonist, gives you a nearer and more menacing antagonist, and then the main character goes through just lesson after lesson after lesson, life lesson, life lesson, life lesson, and does so in an interesting and focused way. And Harry Potter, I feel like, is kind of in that boat as well. It's infinitely, not infinitely. I shouldn't say that. It's extremely wise and extremely accessible. How's that? So yeah, I like that. We back on Barbie. I got it talking to by my first grade teacher who pulled me and another boy aside during recess, gave us detention, and forbid us from playing with dolls at school again. No, poor little Kip. Oh, that's too bad. Let's see. Oh, he was the teacher for the class next door. Oh, that's brutal. Oh well. I doubt that would happen at most public schools these days. But maybe you weren't at a public school. Maybe you were at a Catholic Montessori or whatever they called it. I don't know. But either way, that sucks. Sorry that happened. People can be awesome, right? Okay. Surprised you have Pokemon on now, but not Sailor Moon. So we are not doing. These aren't my favorite franchises. These are the 15 highest grossing franchises of all time. So Pokemon tops the list. Sailor Moon does not. Yeah, definitely does not. I'd rather read The Hobbit and all the Lord of the Rings over Harry Potter any day. Yeah, I mean, if Lord of the Rings were on here, we all know that would be S tier for me, but it's not. So I was a junior in college when I read Harry Potter. I think I've told my Harry Potter origin story enough that I don't need to do that. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm getting cords wrapped up over here. All right, let's keep going. This is a Japanese thing called Anpanman. I have no idea what it. Let's see, Wikipedia. Japanese children's superhero picture book series written by Takashi Yanase, running from 73 until 13. The series has been adapted into an anime, which is one of the most popular anime series. Okay, cool. So, whoa, hang on. There is an Anpanman Children's Museum in Yokohama dedicated to the Anpanman franchise. It is one of 5 such complexes in Japan, 5 of them. So it's a children's museum dedicated to this franchise that I've never heard of. There are 5 of them. I guess that would be a bit like Disneyland or at least like a Lego land or what do they call that? The Lego stores. I can't remember. I haven't heard of it, so sorry, it has to go down there just because I have no familiarity with it. But just to give you some perspective, Harry Potter, between box office, book sales, merchandise, home entertainment, video games, TV, studio tour, and the stage play, so Harry Potter has a lot of fingers in a lot of pies. And it's made $34.5 billion. Anpanman, between retail sales and museum sales, $38.4 billion. So that's impressive. All right, Disney princesses. Disney princesses should be an interesting one. Sorry, we'll get to that in a second. We have a legendary Legendarium meetup in that museum. Yeah, hey, you foot the bill for 4 Legendarium tickets to Japan, and we will make that happen. Absolutely. Let's see. Anpan is a type of pastry. Oh, now we're talking. Okay, so is he like a baker, or is he made of the pastry? Like, is he an anthropomorphic pastry? Um, Regardless. Okay. Disney princesses should be an interesting one because, um, similar to Kip with the dolls in elementary school, I'm a boy. I wasn't supposed to like Disney princesses, right? Except that I did. I always did. I've always liked the Disney princess movies. And you can throw all the stuff at me about this or that being problematic, or this storyline or that decision, or whatever. But I whatever. Don't care. I've always liked the movies. I obviously, growing up in the 90s, I'm more familiar with some than others. Beauty and the Beast was my favorite. Aladdin, probably after that, and then The Little Mermaid. I'm just looking at these pictures here. I know they have a couple other princesses that would probably fit in this. My favorite Disney movies of the 21st century are probably Tangled and Moana. So I would count them as Disney princesses as well. And I've always loved this franchise, and would like to see more delightful, wonderful, traditional Disney princess movies. They're fun. Is it above Spider-Man? Oof, tough to say. Probably below Spider-Man. So I was really hoping Disney princesses would be on the list. Yeah, nice. Yeah, they're great. I don't know. It's the movies themselves, of course, go beyond just the princesses, right? And so I wasn't maybe the target market for a lot of the merchandising, but the movies themselves are great. Yeah, I love them. So let's see what the numbers are. Actually, now that let's see. So what did I say? And Anpanman, $38.4 billion. Okay. All right. Disney princesses, $45.4 billion. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. No, this isn't right. Yeah, the 45.4 is, but it says year of inception 2000. No. Obviously Snow White was back in like the 30s, right? 40s? No, 30s. When did Snow White come out? All right, now I got to look it up. Oh, I didn't say. Oh yeah, 1937. Okay. Oh, that's right, because it came out just before The Hobbit did. Tolkien was not a fan of the dwarfs in Disney. So, but yeah, I really enjoy the Disney princesses. Okay, so let's keep going. I've only got a few more minutes to run through these. Star Wars. Oh my gosh, so tough. If you did the first, even with Return of the Jedi, I know a lot of people don't like the Ewoks and whatnot, and it is kind of goofy when you watch it with the Ewoks. It should have been Wookiees, but even with that, the original trilogy would easily be S tier. But we're not just talking about the original trilogy. As we established earlier, we have to consider the totality of Star Wars. And the prequel trilogy was really quite bad. Those are bad movies for a lot of different reasons. Just go look up if you have a constitution that allows for adult content, then go check out the Red Letter Media YouTube takedowns of the prequels. They are bad movies. But even bad movies, with the exception of a couple of parts in the third one, they don't do violence to Star Wars itself. But the sequels, after Disney got a hold of them, the sequels do real violence to the core identity, the idea behind Star Wars. And a lot of the stuff since then and around then has been just really hit or miss. So, like, even the Clone Wars, people love to point to the Clone Wars, but you watch the Clone Wars and it's like, yeah, there are some real gems, like some great seasons of the Clone Wars, some really good episodes, but a lot that are kind of stinkers or just boring, whatever. Um, Same thing with Rebels. The Mandalorian is a great example. You know, you get to the Mandalorian and then the Book of Boba Fett, and we'll see what happens with Ahsoka. But like, Kenobi was terrible. Mandalorian is amazing for the first season, and then very hit or miss after that, et cetera, et cetera. So if we take it in totality, honestly, I'm as much as it kills me as a lifelong fan of the original trilogy, I'll I think I'll put it above Marvel, but I'm not even sure I'm gonna put it in A tier anymore. Maybe low A tier. It's tough. It's tough because some of the newer stuff is so bad. It drags that average down significantly. Um, oh, interesting. Okay, well, that would make sense. Um, anyway, sorry. Back to Star Wars. Yeah, low A tier. It's definitely below the Disney princesses now. My question is whether I put it above or below Marvel. Um, and I love that original trilogy so much. Like, that drags the average way up. And so I think the original trilogy alone and the John Williams score by itself would pull it into the A tier. So Andor redeems it. Yeah, Andor was definitely really, really, really good. I watched that twice. There are not there are not very many TV franchises, especially that, or seasons or whatever, that can get me to watch twice. Andor got me to watch twice. So we're talking like, how many things have done that? The Witcher, Ted Lasso, um, what's it called? Mythic Quest. Yeah. Anyway, there just aren't very many that get me to watch twice. I think I've watched Breaking Bad twice, but yeah, I just don't do it very often, especially with TV. Never watched Andor. Yeah, it's amazing. Buckle in for a very, very slow and deliberate ride until it's not, right? But it's definitely a show where you want to sit down and watch closely because there's a lot to it and it's a little slower than some others. Okay. Winnie the Pooh. I've never watched it. You guys, I file this one under what? But when I was a kid, I never watched it. As an adult, I never watched it. I don't know anything about Winnie the Pooh. I don't. I don't care. That's not to denigrate Winnie the Pooh. That's just to say I don't care. It never appealed to me as a kid, and appeals to me less as an adult. Never ever. I mean, I'm familiar. Like, I know there's the voice that I couldn't do. I know. So I kind of have his voice in my head. I have Tigger's voice in my head. And I know that there's the kid. What's his name? Robin, something Robin. Whatever. Anyway, so like, I'm familiar with the concept of Winnie the Pooh, but no, I've never watched an episode of Winnie the Pooh or a movie or anything like that. I don't know anything about it. Sorry. Dear Lord. Burned through several VHS copies of Winnie the Pooh. He makes notable appearances in our family Christmas decorations. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Christopher Robin. That's the name I was looking for. Yeah, it's there's too much stuff in the world, and we can't all consume everything. If we were to transport ourselves back to the 90s, and you were to meet 8-year-old Craig, 8 years old, maybe even less. You go back to 7 or 6-year-old Craig. Let's stick with 8-year-old Craig. And all the kids around me had, they were watching Winnie the Pooh and Barney and Lamb Chops and Transformers cartoons and all that. I was watching Star Wars. over and over and over and over again. I was reading the books. I was immersing myself in Star Wars as a kid. And so if you could go back and talk to all these kids, including me, you would see a whole bunch of kids with a wide breadth of knowledge of their, kid pop culture. And then there would be me. And like I don't remember an age where I didn't know the docking number, or sorry, the docking bay number where Luke and Obi-Wan meet Han Solo, right? Like it just, Star Wars was everything to me when I was that age. So I missed some of the things like Winnie the Pooh. So there you go. Christopher Nolan. My license plate is Winnie the Pooh inspired, as are others in my family. Yeah, Ryan and Stephanie, I think especially Stephanie, very, very big into Winnie the Pooh. She has a lot of Tigger stuff. I think Tigger is her favorite character. And you really have to pronounce that T, right? Is it Tigger is her favorite character. And it's, okay. So that's their thing, and that's her thing. Just never was mine. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, let's keep going. There's only 2 more. We're ignoring this. We'll put. I wish I could get rid of it right now, but I can't. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is. This is not Winnie the Pooh. I have seen some Mickey Mouse stuff, but similarly, Mickey Mouse was not a big thing for me when I was a kid. I know they have like the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Mickey Mouse and Friends, and all that. But if we look at whatever, we'll just put them there for now. Let's see what they're listing here. Mickey Mouse and Friends, animated cartoon, box office, blah 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, we're talking like Goofy, and I wonder if they put like a Goofy movie in the Mickey Mouse and Friends franchise. I doubt it, but he does appear in the movie. So anyway, Mickey Mouse, just because you're iconic doesn't mean you're an S tier. But it also, like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt your case. And this is my personal ranking, right? This is my ranking of how much I care. I don't care about Mickey Mouse that much. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And lastly, oh no, we should do some numbers real quick. Okay, Winnie the Pooh as a franchise. No, Star Wars. Let's back up to Star Wars. Star Wars as a franchise has made $46.7 billion. That's a huge amount of money. 46.7 compared to 48.4 for Winnie the Pooh. $48.4 billion up to Mickey Mouse and Friends, $52.2 billion. So that's 3.8 more. Mickey Mouse and Friends, $52 billion. And I just don't care. Sorry. Let's see. I like the Muppets. Oh, wait. Do I hate the Muppets? I don't hate the Muppets. I hate some of the Muppets. I missed it. So yeah. Let's see. I like the Muppets. I just finished watching Labyrinth, and I also like Dark Crystal. I tried the first season of Dark Crystal, the Netflix, like the new Netflix version. And I think I got 2 episodes in or something, and it was okay. Like it was fine, but it didn't quite hit for me. Probably because I didn't grow up liking those puppet movies. But such is life. Okay, Pokemon. Okay, let's do numbers again. Mickey Mouse, $52.2 billion. Okay, and that's number 2. I don't want to make you guys guess because you're just going to Google it, right? Pokemon has made $88 billion since 1996. 88 billion. 1.2, if we're rounding up, 1.2 billion at the box office. Okay. Pokemon mobile games, $6.13 billion. So we're talking Pokemon Duel, Pokemon Quest, Pokemon Masters, and then that's just video. That's the mobile game. I want the full video game list, but merchandise sales is where they have just killed it with Pokemon. Merchandise sales, it's unbelievable. $80.8 billion in Pokemon merchandise. Are you freaking kidding me? By itself. And I am going to go ahead and call out Wikipedia on this. I think this is lowballing, because it lists under Pokemon mobile games. It has Pokemon Quest, Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Duel, Pokemon Shuffle, Magikarp Jump, whatever. Oh, and Pokemon Go. There it is. Pokemon Go, $6 billion. But they've got a bunch of other video games as well. It's not just the mobile games, right? So are they listing that under merchandise? No, they couldn't. It would have to be on. Whatever. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that 88 billion is lowballing it for Pokemon. And that's just incredible. And I'm about to really absolutely shred my nerd cred, you guys, because never played it, never watched it. I have seen one movie. I saw Detective Pikachu? I saw that, where I think it's Ryan Reynolds doing the voice. I saw that because I watched it with my kids. It's fine, but I don't consider that enough. I don't remember anything about it. I don't even know who the villain was. Whatever. And seems like a lot of fun. I'm sure people have a lot of fun with it. I will say I am really annoyed by Pokemon Go, because it's I think the promise of Pokemon Go was, we're going to get people who are just on their phones all day to get out of the house, go walk around, do something. Okay, good. That's nice. But from my experience, what it actually means is that people who go out and do things now do those things with their faces buried even more in their phones than they were before. And you have to have a conversation with somebody doing this. I don't even know what they're doing. They're like winding up their Pokeballs or something, but they just sit here and do this. Looks like I'm doing something a little bit filthy, but that's what it looks like when they're playing Pokemon Go. And I don't care for it. But I've also never played it, so yeah. Another podcast I listen to, the two hosts sometimes start talking about Pokemon Go. It invades everything. I can't take it. I distinctly remember when my youngest child was born. It was at the University of Utah Hospital here in Salt Lake City. And I remember my wife in labor, suffering, dying, pushing life out of her womb. And there were nurses right outside our door that were just like chilling, playing Pokemon Go. I was so angry. This might be, the origin of why I hate Pokemon Go so much. But it was like brand new at the time. This would have been 2016, so I think it was brand new, and I was so upset. It just was it that big a deal? Like in the grand scheme of things, no. We had help in the room, like we were taken care of, and things were okay. But something about the callousness of that, or the casualness with which they treated my wife's health, and my daughter's health for that matter, was just, it really rubbed me the wrong way. And anyway, I think that was like week 1 of Pokemon Go. So the world was completely insane with Pokemon. And maybe that's why I missed it, because I was too worried about the birth of my second child. I don't know. Okay. I think we'll call it there. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour 10. I gotta go. Speaking of being a dad, I gotta go be a dad, you guys. So thanks for hanging out. But go ahead and shred my list in the comments if you want. That's fine. That's fine. I didn't really have anything for today. That's when we bust out the tier list maker. When I don't have anything to talk about, we bust out the tier list maker. So surprised we went for 70 minutes. Anyway, make sure you guys go to thelegendarium.com for the calendar and all that. I think the only change right now coming up is that instead of Martin the Warrior, we're going to do Matameo from the Redwall series. But other than that, you can go check out upcoming episodes. And I'm going to start hitting the meetup a little harder in the future. So get ready for that. The meetup here in Salt Lake City is in February. So start planning. Now's a good time. You don't maybe need to buy your tickets yet, but start planning, finding roommates and all that, because I really want all of you to come out to Salt Lake City and come hang out for a day or two for the Legendarium meetup. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I will